It is finally time to optimize our PC for 4.5. Star Citizen 4.5 has changed settings dramatically because they introduced a new version of Vulkan, which is much better. The quality of image is much nicer, and of course, if you set up your PC right, you will also have more frames with better image quality. So let's get started. First of all, I will link my old video here, how to optimize your PC to get the best settings for the Star Citizen. So I will not repeat that steps here. I will just say that what we can do right now, which is new, and what I know about Star Citizen. I'm using NVIDIA, so I'm going to show you my settings. First of all, NVIDIA app. If you go to the graphics, then to Star Citizen, you will have this. If you do not have it, I will link a video down below how to enable this, and then you will be able to change settings. So highly recommended to use here DLSS override super resolution to DLLA, because for some reason in Star Citizen I got better FPS and better image quality than when I use quality DLSS 4. 100% use DLLA. I have tested it. Smooth motion was amazing tool in 4.4, but right now it doesn't work, so turn it off. And the CIG said that they are investigating how to fix this, so hopefully in a patch or two we will have this working, which will give tremendous increase in FPS. But right now, turn off the smooth motions, otherwise you will not be able to start the game. Even if you switch to DirectX 11, if your game crashes, it will automatically switch to Vulkan and you will not be able to enter the game. So use this. And here, DLSS override model preset, use the latest, so that's a DLSS 4. And we are done in this program. You can shut it down. NVIDIA control panel. Here are my settings. I'm gonna slowly go through them, you can copy them, and I will explain that what is important. So my LG OLED TV is G-Sync compatible, so I have G-Sync on. Here is important, shader cache 10 GB. It works the best for me. I don't know, you can test for yourself, but for me, I don't have any crashes on this, so I'm leaving it. So this is everything as it should be. I've turned on the vertical sync because I'm using a G-Sync V-Sync setup, which increases your quality of image and performance. So use this and it will help you really much if you have a G-Sync monitor. If you do not have G-Sync monitor, turn this vertical sync off here and turn it on in the game, so maybe you'll have a little bit less staring. But if you have G-Sync compatible monitor, turn this on and G-Sync and turn off in the game vertical sync. Very important, do not forget that step. I'm gonna remind you later again. Then we go here. Physics settings. Make sure to select NVIDIA GeForce, not the auto recommended. That's it. Apply. Resolution. Select the native resolution of your monitor. Do not, I repeat, never use lower resolution with the higher settings. You will get much worse image quality. Use native, but lower the settings in the game. That's it. And jump to G-Sync. Enable it for window and full screen modes because I use Star Citizen in windowed mode. And we are done with this part. The CIG made this beautiful explanation of every settings in Star Citizen, and using this will help us tremendously to determine which settings should be best for the lower end, medium and high-end computers. In my previous videos, I had a lot of questions. What is a medium, what is a high level and what is low level PC? Well, depends on the resolution that you play. If you're playing on 1080p, even 3070 will be your high-end computer. But if you're playing on 2K, I recommend 5070 or 4070 and higher. If you're playing on 4K, definitely 4080, 5080, 4090, 5090. If you have 4090 or 5080, do not upgrade to 5080 or 5090. It's not worth it. You will get just a little bit FPS, so skip this NVIDIA. I've upgraded my 3090 to 5090 only because I'm making videos for you guys and I have to give you the best of the best. Otherwise, I would be still using my 3090. Now, one cool tip that I have to recommend you is installing MSI Afterburner, and with the MSI Afterburner install RivaTuner. This is the RivaTuner. Why do you need RivaTuner? To cap your FPS. For example, you have a monitor that can produce, like I have, 120 FPS, but your GPU is 5090, and my GPU can sometimes put the Star Citizen even to 300 FPS in space. But the problem is, the Star Citizen is still not optimized. We don't have CPU all cores. Because of that, I will get sometimes 300 FPS and then in next moment I will have 60 FPS. And that's a big problem because I will have a lot of stuttering. So imagine you are working at 300 and you have to suddenly go to 60. There will be stuttering. So if you cap your frame here, you just write it here and apply it. That's it. Put 120 FPS if you have 120 FPS monitor. I think the ideal option is 116. That's it. My frames are capped to 116. Just write them. That's it. My 5090 can use 650 watts and it's normally using only 250 to 350. That's more than double saving by using just this simple trick. And it also prevents my graphics card from deteriorating faster than it should be. I don't have any problem with connector. My MSI Tria works perfectly with this 116 FPS and I use it in every game and I love it. So definitely cap your frames. If you don't take anything from this video, take the capping frames. You will be amazed how your game becomes smooth. Now, if you have Ryzen processor and it's multi-core and it's 3D, so it doesn't matter which one, you will have to do this. You will download and install app which is called Lasso, Project Lasso. Now I'm going to show you how you will set up with this thing the best FPS for your machine. So first what you will do is go to Process Lasso, just Google it and download. It's a free version, you don't have to use paid version. I literally bought paid version just to say thank you to these guys who made this app and to support them, because this have changed my Star Citizen completely. It has erased stuttering for me completely. And what this app do is actually it uses your best cores for the game and the worst cores are used for Windows and applications. When you hear it, it sounds like strange, but you need your best cores for gaming. And when I use this, I have over 30 to 40 FPS increase in low 10% and 1%. That is huge. That is crazy good. Before you do anything, turn off your PC and restart into the BIOS. Disable these settings in BIOS. Then come back into Windows and continue. You go to the options, CPU affinities. Now go to the folder where your Star Citizen is installed. Live. Find Star Citizen exe, copy together with exe, copy it, close this, where it says process match, paste, and here write 1 through 15. Okay, I will not do this because I already have set it up. Look at this, you have to set it up like this for every game. There is another option, you can just set it up for Steam and then it will be automatically used for all of your games, but some games do not accept this. You will have to set it up manually. So this is how I set it up for my favorite games. Write me down in the comments, did you see an increase in FPS and instability of the game? This is a game-changing tool for me. Go immediately and download this app. If you have Ryzen processor, do it. Don't ask, just do it and thank me later. So now we are in the main settings. Here I'm going to explain what is used for what to find the best settings for yourself. Now we're gonna go through these settings. Sadly for my laptop this was not recorded for some reason, so I'm gonna try to explain you the best what kind of FPS did I have while I was playing. I was using my laptop to set up the best settings for medium spec machine. On my main computer we're gonna start for the high-end machine and then we're gonna go all the way to the low machine. So let's start with the graphic render. When you start Star Citizen it will be default Vulkan. You can change to DirectX 11, but every time your game crashes or there is some kind of problem it will revert default to Vulkan. Resolution. When you have a native monitor that is 2K, do not go below it. That is my recommendation. The CIG says here that changing this resolution will change a lot VRAM, and VRAM is down here. That is a memory that your graphics card has. Be very careful that you do not go over the limit that your graphics card have. For example, I have 32 gigabytes on my 5090, so it's not possible for me to go over its 36. But if you have like 10 gigabytes and you are using all maxed out, you have terrible performance. Once video RAM goes over that what your graphics card have, your FPS will fall to the 10 or 5 until you reduce something. So resolution will have a high impact on your video memory, but also I would rather turn everything down here than change the native resolution. So always keep the native resolution of your monitor. If it is 1080p, then use 1080p. If it's 2K or 4K, use that. Window mode. There is window, borderless and full screen. I recommend borderless, especially if you are on 4K like me. Much better. VSync will allow you to reduce the tearing. Once you move left and right, there will be tearing because maybe your graphics card can output more FPS or less FPS than your monitor can show, and that can show some tearing. So if you have problems like that, turn the VSync on. But I do not recommend using this if you have G-Sync or VSync capable monitor. Then use this in settings of NVIDIA and AMD to turn the VSync on and your G-Sync on and disable it in-game. That will give you a boost of FPS and it will work like a charm without any stuttering. Upscaling. If you want the best picture, use native. But in my testing, there is a better way. You will set it here to quality, and then what I said, you go to the settings that I showed already and select DLLA. One of you guys wrote me in the comments why the DLLA works better than DLSS for quality 66%. Since this game is still not optimized for the CPU, it uses only one core instead of like multi-core rendering. If you use DLLA, much of the job will be pushed to the graphics card. So that is why you will have better FPS if you use DLLA. So we recommend using in NVIDIA app DLLA and then setting here to quality 66%. Now if you have a lower end machine, I recommend using auto or balanced or performance, whichever you want, but then your quality will naturally be lower. So DLLA is much better than native AA. Test it for yourself and you will see. I will not explain it anymore. Upscaling technique. Now you have here CIG, TSR, AMD, FSR, NVIDIA. If you have NVIDIA card, use DLSS and DLLA. If you have AMD, test it between this. CIG recommend CIG TSR because AMD right now have some problems, but you decide for yourself. Upscaling module. This is old way and the new DLSS 4. So definitely use this. HDR. I'm gonna circle back to the HDR once I enable it, but we will skip it for now. There is now a possibility on Vulkan to turn HDR. Overall quality. Now, if you have, as I said, the high-end machine, scroll all the way to Ultra and set to Ultra. Your job is done. You can shut this video down and go play Star Citizen. You will have the best of the best. That is if you have 4090 and 5090. Here we are now on my laptop. This is a 4090 laptop. Bear in mind the FPS that I'm getting here will be 10 to 15 FPS higher when I'm not using record. For some reason FPS was not recorded. I'm very sorry for that. But here are the options for you. Vulkan, I have a 2K here and I use full screen. VSync no, upscaling as I said DLLA, and quality. Upscaling transformer, and here I'm using very high preset and then changing everything to high that is not so important. I'm gonna just show you here quickly everything what I've turned on, and I'm going to go back to my computer and explain why did I choose everything to high here, because all of these clouds and glasses and stuff are not so much needed. Also, I recommend using these settings for gamma and brightness and contrast. They are working perfectly for me. So now we're gonna go to the Orson, where I'm going to show you how does it look on Orson, because FPS here right now I have around 90, 80, 90 with the recording. So without recording I will have 90 to 100, which is awesome for my laptop. I'm gonna show you after this video the video where I recorded before I done this upgrade to Vulkan. So I recorded on 4.4 and the game is tremendously worse on DirectX 11. There's constant stuttering. You will see here zero stuttering on 40 4090 laptop. The 4090 laptop is not that strong, it's actually like 4060 normal. But look how fluid everything it is on Orson. Now here DPS dips down to the 50s and 60s and stays there. The cool thing about this, there is no stuttering, even if this is an Intel CPU and not a Ryzen, but still, clouds are a little bit bad in my opinion because they are only on high, but who cares? I love that the performance is very, very nice. Like there is a zero stuttering here. So nice. This is the hardest part for rendering in Orson, when you see directed clouds, and when I fly with my ship outside, this is same performance. I love these settings, they work perfectly. After you copy them and turn on your own PC, please write me down in the comments, are they working for you? So this is a for 2K system, and also you can use this on your like high-end computer if you don't want to strain it too much. But I'm so grateful how this looks. So here is the sample of 4.4 before the update on DirectX 11. I had an HDR here turned on, so maybe image will be washed out for you, but you can see the performance. DirectX 11 was so much like full of stuttering, and this is why I'm showing this to you, so you see the difference. And here the settings were even lower than what I have right now on 4.5. So here we are back on my PC. So I set here everything to ultra, and then I go object detail. I will use very high, but if you have problems you can lower it to high and you are good to go. So switch to high if you have problems with my FPS. Object view distance, if you use ultra it will be 200%, so going to high it is 100%. You can also go medium if your PC has problems, but I recommend using high. Texture quality, I recommend using very high, but you will not lose much if you use high, so also you can switch this to high or very high depending on your machine. Detail textures, you can only set high or medium. If you use medium you will not get so much performance, but it will way worse, so I definitely recommend using high. The ground textures, if your PC is bad, use low. If it's better, use high. Texture filtering, use high. Shadow maps, now everything from here, shadow, screens, planet volumetric gas, fog, water simulation, you can set all of this to high. If your PC is having problem, you can go and turn this to medium without any problems. You will not lose much in a quality, but you will gain a lot FPS. So either high or medium and you are good to go. Shaders quality, now this is for me very important. I use very high or ultra on my PC, but if you have, as I said, problems, go with high, not a medium or very high. I think you will not lose a lot with very high. The main important here is to watch your video RAM. So this is using right now 10 gigabytes. So if I change shader quality to high, it stays same. So as I said, it doesn't use very much. So I think 10 gigabytes can a lot of like medium spec machines use and will have no problem whatsoever. Post effects, now these post effects are not that important, you don't see it a lot, but it's eating performance, so go with the high or medium. Video comms are not that important, that's the little image that you get on your screen. It doesn't use a lot, you can use high or very high, whatever you like. Visor and less aspect modifier, this is used for the ultra wide monitor. If you have problem on your visor, pull this all the way to 100 or somewhere in between. Now field of view, depth field, it will come 85 for me at least, and it is very cropped and very bad. You cannot see anything and you have lower FPS for some reason. So turn this all the way to 100%, and if you have ultra wide, maybe you have to pull it even more. Test it for yourself. Gamma, brightness, contrast, this is also recommended for you to use 50, 50 and 55. This is my setting, I love it. You can also play around a little bit with the contrast, increase it even more, maybe 56, and turn on the gamma a little bit. Motion blur, you can turn this yes or off depending on how you like it. I like to turn this on because I'm recording videos and I love when it's a little bit more smoother. Sharpening and chromatic aberration use 50-50, but you can turn it all the way at the left. It doesn't affect your video memory at all. So this is very okay to use. Film grain I don't recommend, and that is it. This is a medium machine until 10 GB of video memory. I'm gonna use here medium preset and then increase to high if I need something. So my video memory is 8.8. So if you are struggling with video memory, turn the textures down to medium. If you have enough video memory, you can keep high. Details texture, also try using high or medium. What works better for you? I will use high because it doesn't affect video memory. Texture filtering, medium. Shadows, everything use at the medium. This will work flawlessly with your PC. What I would use to high is texture quality if you have more VRAM, and detailed texture. That's it. You can also maybe turn ground textures to low, and that will save some video memory, and that's it. I think this is optimized, and without any problems you can use it like this. Here is very important, upscaling. If you have lower end PC, use performance is awesome. Look at this, 7.8 GB. So if you have a lower end machine, definitely here use performance 50%. Any graphic PC can use these settings without any problems and play Star Citizen with a good quality picture. Let's see how the picture looks when we are in the game. So here we are right now in my hangar. This is the quality of medium. Look at this, looks awesome. FPS is really good. So Vulkan has improved everything. I even have my ship here parked just for you to show you. Look how good this is. You can definitely play and enjoy the game at this FPS without any problems. Here are the settings one more time so you see it. So yeah, definitely use these settings if you have lower end PC and you will be very satisfied with quality. Now it's only left to show you the HDR. I've turned on the HDR and these are my settings. I like to lower this a little bit down. This is HDR brightness or Ref white. I think the sweet spot for me is 230. The best settings will be from 200 to 250. Now we come to the HDR peak brightness. Here you will set your peak brightness to the peak brightness of your monitor. I have LG TV 42-inch and 1000 is peak brightness for this TV, but I love to lower this a little bit so that I don't peak at the top of its capabilities. And these are the settings that I will use for HDR. Now I'm gonna disable the HDR. I'm gonna show you how this game looks with everything ultra maxed out and what FPS I have. Alright, I have enabled the recording. That is immediately taking 10 FPS for my standard FPS. But this is how the game looks with everything maxed out except for the clouds. On photo mode I use very high instead. Beautiful, but I would say the medium also really look nice, and if you have lower end machine with the new Vulkan, it will definitely look better than it was before, and you will play better if you use all of the settings that I've explained to you. Let's go back to the Orison so I can show you how actually everything looks and what FPS do I have on Orison. Welcome to the most beautiful Orison that you ever seen before. Look at my FPS 1%, it's 60. This, using the process Lasso, this eliminates stuttering on Star Citizen completely for me. Just look how beautiful this is. Now we are coming to the most hardest part, and still everything is silky. Using DLLA with process Lasso is game changing, and these are my FPS. Around 90 here when I'm recording. When I'm not recording, it will be around 100. When I go in my ship and when I'm in cockpit, I will have maybe 80, and that's it. The graphic look awesome, and if you have high-end machine, I definitely recommend using Ultra. What the hell? If you cannot use Ultra, you can also use without any problems very high, and it will not change a lot in quality of the picture. The ultimate settings at the end will depend on your machine, and as I said, you have to play a little bit with the settings, find that what works best for you. You can use my presets that I already explained and see how does that like translate to your machine. If it's working flawlessly, good, enjoy it, continue. If it's not, try lower something a little bit. Or if your FPS is like over 120 and your monitor refresh rate is 60, then you can definitely increase the graphics so that you have a little bit more nicer graphics and not so much FPS. Write me down in the comments, what are your settings? Are you satisfied with Vulkan? I am so happy with this. I would just love that the CIG has the smooth motion. Not for me, because after using DLLA in combination with Process Lasso, I will never use smooth motion again, because look at the FPS that I get and the quality of image. I don't need it. But for everyone else who has normal machine, they need the smooth motion or frame generation. Thank you for watching my video. If you like it, don't hesitate to subscribe here, like and share this video with your friend so he can also set up his PC to the best of its ability. Until next video, have fun out there.